My friends, the time is finally upon us. And you may be asking, what is this time that you claim is upon us? Well, you see, it is time to duel. Or rather, it's time for me to talk about Lost Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Something I really thought to not categorize or actually think about until I just kind of randomly thought of it one night and here it is, categorized. While there are documented cases of lost Yu-Gi-Oh media, there are a few instances that took a little digging into and speculating to bring forth here today. Stuff that you wouldn't typically think about as lost media, but it still counts. But yeah, I did just that. I sat and looked at a whole bunch of web pages and looked into a whole bunch of things and compiled some more things, edited some more things, wrote some scripts, and here it is, some lost children's card game media for all of you here today. Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, Pyramid of Light. Yu-Gi-Oh! The first movie. No, actually, it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Pyramid of Light. It's an okay movie. I remember renting this from a Blockbuster and watching it at 1 a.m. with some friends at a slumber party. To this day, we actually have an inside joke about the Kaiba song that plays when the end credits start. Either that or the one that plays when he's on the Blue Eyes jet, I don't remember. But we'll just send the song out of context randomly, and it's a whole thing. But anyways. Fun fact about this movie is that it was commissioned by 4Kids for the American market. This is actually something that happened more than once, but we'll get into that later. Because this movie was not the product of Japan, it actually came out in America first, then Japan a few months later. Lost media though, what is it? How does it work? Well, you see, the runtime of the American film is 89 minutes, and the Japanese film, 101 minutes. How can this be though? Typically the source material is shortened and localized after it arrives from Japan. But this is a case where it was created in the country that typically does the localizing and botching. Well, there's two theories as to why the Japanese one is a little longer. One is that 4Kids made all 101 minutes of it and later just decided to cut it out. The other is that the Japanese studio added these scenes when it reached Japan. And that's not all, we don't even have a complete documentation of the differences between versions. So theoretically, there could be scenes that didn't even make it to either film or a lost dub of the Japan-only scenes, and that's where the lost stuff comes in. The really weird thing is the scenes that are in the Japanese version or the ones known to be in the Japanese version are not inappropriate or violent. One I can think of is there's just like a shot of a Karibo at the beginning when he's building the Millennium Puzzle. There's a few others, it's just a weird situation. Is there any more scenes beyond this that were unreleased completely? Any lost dubs? We may never know. The Japanese dub of Capsule Monsters, Yu-Gi-Oh! Alex. So there's apparently a story arc with the same name as me. Lol. Much like the Pyramid of Light film, Capsule Monsters was kind of a side quest filler thing in the anime that was co-produced by 4Kids, though Capsule Monsters was also produced in conjunction with Nihon Ad Systems, Studio Gallop, TV Tokyo, and Shueisha. Just me and the boys making an anime to sell a toy line. Which, joking aside, is exactly what this is. Apparently, while not confirmed, it was meant to be adapted for Japan and would go under the name Yu-Gi-Oh! Alex. We know this name is the name of the Capsule Monsters in Japan because of a listing on Studio Gallop's webpage that to this day is still up. So, why the name Alex? I really have no idea. Maybe because Alex sounds Americanized and cool. Does that make me cool? The Studio Gallop listing also mentions it being an American anime and something made in America. Like, it's definitely aware of this in describing it as that, so... More importantly though, why was it never released in Japan despite having so many people collaborate to finish the thing? Well, it is theorized that the reason is similar to why Toei's Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, known by fans as Season 0, doesn't have any release or acknowledgement after Duel Monsters came out.
It is hot as hell in this funky ass, hot ass room I'm in. Is that the Grim Reaper?
Because it conflicts with the story told in Duel Monsters, which is different in many ways and kinda took over as series canon. There has been documented interest in adapting this anime for the Japanese market, though whether or not it will be is still unknown. I'm guessing if it hasn't happened already, it probably will never happen though. The many lost Yu-Gi-Oh cards. There's one interesting thing to keep in mind and note when considering lost Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Say, for example, you've heard of some lost Pokemon card nobody's ever seen before. Say it's a Suicune card. Why Suicune? Well, that's my favorite Pokemon, so of course. Anyways, let's say there's this rare Suicune card that has never been documented. It's confirmed to have been produced and exist, but it's unable to be located and there's no photos of it online. In this case, you already know what a Suicune looks like, and if you don't, you can just Google Suicunes. That's not exactly the case with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. See, there are over 10,000 cards in the American TCG alone, over 12,000 in the Japanese variant. If a card becomes lost and it was never featured in the anime, it's likely that people won't know what the heck it even looks like. It being the monster, spell, trap, etc. Among the most notorious cases is Cyber Dragon. Like, what the heck does Cyber Dragon even look like? This is the case for a few other notable cards, and I'll get into the details right now. First one is the Millennium Thousand Eyes Virus, a card that to this day is not even confirmed to exist, though despite that it has been said to be the best card in the game and banned in tournaments. This statement was made by Kevin Tuert, Konami's US head of development. Nobody knows any details surrounding this card, though fans have speculated that the name Millennium Thousand Eyes Virus combines the names Thousand Eyes Restrict and Crush Card Virus, and Millennium, of course, because of course. At one point in time, these two cards were considered to be among the best in the game, like back during the run of the original anime. They aren't anymore! Next, we have the Mattel cards. These guys were only available to those who purchased monster figures that were produced by Mattel between 2005-2006. You would think that these cards weren't as rare simply because you could just go out and buy the cards you want, right? Well, that's actually wrong. Wrong for a few specific instances, that is. Cards in this Mattel line are among the rarest in existence. Some cards are so rare that they were thought to not even exist for a while. The rarest appear to be from the third series of figures that were only sold at Sears stores during this time. These cards are the MF03 printings of Elemental Hero Avian, Elemental Hero Clayman, and Cyber Dragon. Because these cards had not surfaced online in any way, many people believe that they either were never printed at all or just lost to time. All speculation had ended this year only 11 months ago when a user named Kevin Lee posted on Reddit regarding these cards. The post says this: "Just found some old Yu-Gi-Oh cards while digging through my closet. These were from a very long time ago. I don't even remember where I got them. Wondering if any of you here would happen to know the rarity of these cards. I looked them up on Google and they seem to be decently rare. Mattel Action Figure Promo Series 3. So I was wondering if someone can confirm. The cards have been in a binder for over 10 years and are near mint condition. Card list: Elemental Hero Avian, MF03 EN001. Elemental Hero Burst Tracks, MF03 EN002. Elemental Hero Clayman, MF03 EN003. Elemental Hero Sparkman, MF03 EN004. Elemental Hero Bubbleman, MF03 EN007. Cyber Dragon, MF03 EN009. From here, Dan Parker, a writer for TCG Player, actually got in contact with Kevin and had him scan the cards in so they could be properly documented. With that, this specific mystery is solved and the cards are now available to look at and all that stuff online. Last card I want to talk about is the 2005 UDE print of the Seal of Orichalos. Considered one of the rarest Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the world, the Upper Deck promo copy of the Seal of Orichalos was printed in 2005 specifically for an event. After this 2005 event, the card was never photographed or seen since. Only 15 copies of this card were ever printed, and it's unlikely that all of them still exist. It was finally in 2017 that this card was documented and uploaded to Asian Yensation's YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check it out over there. The Zexal Funimation dub. Johnny Young Bosch. He is a dude who has voiced a lot of anime characters. Really, I mean a lot. And he supposedly was going to add another one to his arsenal in 2011 when Funimation had plans to dub Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, the anime that followed after 5Ds. And from what I've personally heard, this would have been a welcome dub as fans aren't too fond of the dub they actually got.
Thank you for saving me!
I'm only going from hearsay though. I only watched up to the end of 5Ds because... the plot. I'm kidding, by the way. Now, the history surrounding this dub is very, very messy as there's legal stuff involved. See, Zexal was airing around the same time 4Kids was running into a little trouble and ceased to really exist. Zexal began airing in 2011 and ended in 2015. The same dub and the same people who worked on the dub aired this dub that is found and not lost until the very end despite the 4Kids legal issues. And see, the 4Kids legal bankruptcy issues were actually started because of a lawsuit filed by Nihon Ad Systems and TV Tokyo. These companies accused 4Kids from hiding revenue generated by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise and sought to revoke their license for the property. Surprise plot twist here, though, is that 4Kids was declared by a court of law still entitled to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a property and earning that revenue. Nihon Ad Systems and TV Tokyo actually had to pay 4Kids $8 million, not the other way around. Despite this legal victory, 4Kids Entertainment was still declared deceased. Time of death was June of 2012. Now, being cocky and overly confident, Nihon Ad Systems and TV Tokyo were actually producing their own dub of Zexal over a 6 to 8 month period of June of 2011. This was because they likely assumed that they would win, and simply took it upon themselves to create their own dub. This dub is the lost one. Bang Zoom Entertainment, a Los Angeles-based company, had created 26 episodes of the series. They were fully dubbed, new musical score, new sound effects, and even retouched animation. Unfortunately, due to all the legal mumbo-jumbo that was going on around this point in time, this series was not allowed to see the light of day. Now, footage of this dub was actually shown at a 2012 expo titled Armageddon Expo. The panel showed a clip of the dub, and a demo was later found as well. The opening theme, completely different from the 4Kids dub, is also available online. Due to all the legal restrictions and restraints, we'll likely never see all 26 episodes of this dub. The original broadcast versions of The Ultimate Great Moth and Panic Attack from the dub of Duel Monsters Season 1. Anime getting cut up and dismembered was a common trend among American kids networks in the late 90s and early 2000s. It wasn't exactly uncommon for multiple episodes to be spliced together like an AMV made on Windows Movie Maker in 2006. This video has other examples. But yeah, Kids WB had initially aired 2 localized episodes, Into the Hornet's Nest and The Ultimate Great Moth, together as one episode. The 4th and 5th episodes of Duel Monsters. I can't personally recall what's in these episodes to make them potentially offensive except... him? This kind of edit would be done again for episodes 14 and 15, The Light at the End of the Tunnel and Winning Through Intimidation. These 2 episodes were fused and renamed Panic Attack. These 2 separate combined episodes would continue to re-air on reruns until 2006 and 2007. Fast forward to years later, and people on the internet are talking about this episode and trying to find it to watch it again online. It didn't take long before a VHS rip became available, however, and the episode was quickly found. The Duel Monsters Singapore dub. I feel like this one is among the more well-known lost mediums up in here, and while I almost put it in an episode of Lost Dubs, I don't think this chaotic creation of my own doing would be complete without it. For those of you unfamiliar with the Singapore dub,
Duke is so good at this game.
Well, the other option is I pull this trigger and put a bullet in your head.
Adversity is a test of your ability as a duelist.
Are you in awe of my power yet, dude?
that's it. It's art. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you're probably very familiar with the original 4Kids dub, the one with, Brooklyn Joey and most names being localized and westernized and not Japanese except Mokuba for some reason. Like, they changed all the complex ones except Mokuba, which to this day will never make sense to me. But there was also an English dub made for the Southeast Asian market. This dub aired in Singapore on Channel I and Kid Central. Cartoon Network Asia also aired it. There were home video releases in Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines. These were on a thing called VCDs. Weird. Despite having releases, all of these have gone out of print and they're very, very hard to obtain. There are only a few clips available online of this dub. The original Duel Monsters Millennium World Arc. This one is stepping heavily into existence unconfirmed and rumor territory. Despite that, I am adding it because it sounds really interesting and really plausible to me. So, the Millennium World Arc, also known by me as the one with all the Egypt stuff, is an arc that many people aren't super fond of. It's not the worst arc, but it's also not the best. During the creation of this arc, Kazuki Takahashi actually was hospitalized. Due to this, he was rushed when actually finishing it and changed a lot of details from the original vision he had. This is actually very common with manga creators. A lot go through overwork, become sick, or just have other things going on where they have to rush endings. One notable example of this is the ending to the Bleach manga. So, the fan theory is actually that the ending was supposed to be something else and different aspects of this arc were going to be dramatically different. None of this is actually confirmed, however. Anyways, that is the end of this video, and I really hope you like the information I researched and brought forth for you guys today. I wanted to make sure I encompassed Yu-Gi-Oh! As a franchise and didn't just focus solely on anime stuff, despite that being the really prominent lost media. I know a lot of people are fans specifically of the card games and the ridiculous amount of lore and meta surrounding the card games, so I wanted to kind of add that, and I hope it did it justice. If there is something I did not discuss, please let me know in the comments and we can kind of discuss it there and have it, brought to light there. I do realize that a lot of these are really in rumor territory and not confirmed, but I feel like they're worth discussing, and I do not think I'll do another video about Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff in the future, so it's worth bringing up. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you look forward to my future content. See you in the next video!